Well, President Biden has signed an important legislation today to prioritise finding out how coronavirus came to be. Joe Biden signed the legislation that would direct the federal government to declassify any information relating to the origins of COVID-19. The White House had actually been pretty coy on whether the president would sign the bill. Even Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre today didn't say.
Versus sent the president the COVID origins bill. Does he intend to sign that?
I spoke to this last week. We're certainly reviewing it. Just don't have anything to share on the president signing the bill at this time.
This bill basically orders a declassification of any intelligence about the virus that started more than 3 years ago, information that perhaps only the White House has known. The measure was passed unanimously in Congress, the House having passed the bill earlier this month. The bipartisan bill directs the Office of the Director of National Intelligence to declassify anything relating to the Wuhan Institute of Virology. President Biden's statement read, "My administration will continue to review all classified information relating to the COVID-19's origins, including potential links to the Wuhan Institute of Virology. In implementing this legislation, my administration will declassify and share as much of that information as possible, consistent with my constitutional authority to protect against the disclosure of information that would harm national security." Now, this all comes back to the fact the lab leak theory has been thrown back into the spotlight. When Donald Trump was president, he believed the virus originated at a lab in Wuhan, China. However, many pushed back on that narrative, believing it was just a conspiracy theory. In May 2021, Joe Biden, only a few months into his presidency, gave intelligence agencies 90 days to investigate two theories. Either the virus came from a lab or it came from a wet market. The report was handed down months later in August, but it was basically inconclusive. Now, this push from both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party to sign this piece of legislation comes after the US Department of Energy revealed in late February that the virus likely did emerge from a lab leak. Not long after, FBI Director Christopher Wray made a pretty startling admission when he said the Bureau backed that up, saying the pandemic was likely caused by a lab leak.
The FBI has for quite some time now assessed that the origins of the pandemic are most likely a potential lab incident in Wuhan. Let me step back for a second. The FBI has folks, agents, professionals, analysts, virologists, microbiologists, etc., who focus specifically on the dangers of biological threats, which include things like novel viruses like COVID.